Hello everybody, this is GamerGar and welcome to a brand new Stardew Valley Let's Play. This is going to be a play-along. That means I would love if you were to play along with me. In the comments of this video I'm going to put in the World Game Seed. And it's very easy to use it. All you have to do is click on the wrench there at the bottom left of that screen. Go to the very bottom and you can insert the Game Seed. Now, if you do use the game seed, it won't give you an absolute identical map to what I get, but what it will give you are things like mine floor layouts and ladders, geode contents, artifact spots and treasure chances, weather patterns, random events like meteorites, fairy visits, and all that sort of jazz. Fishing treasure RNG will also be affected as well, so if you were to fish in the same spots as me on the same days, chances are you're going to get the same stuff. But what could potentially make this Let's Play very interesting is that if you didn't exactly copy what I did and you went off and you fished somewhere else, and you put into the comments what you got and where you got it from, it would make the comment section so interesting because everybody that watched the video could try different routes based on different users' feedbacks. So I think it would create some really cool community engagement. So we're going to take it one day at a time, and we're just going to do spring for now to see how we get on. And every single video will contain more or less one day, but I'm going to show the entirety of the day. That means some days might be a tad bit boring because we're just going to be fishing, but I still think it's going to make for a great Let's Play when the whole thing is done. I'm not going to be doing day resets. You can do as many day resets as you like, it's your file, do whatever you want. So we're now in day number 1 here. This is going to be video number 1, of course. And as you can see, I'm just running around here now collecting some of the basic resources. I've taken out this scythe. We're going to whack all of these weeds to get some fibre. And it's also just to create some space as well so we can move around. Ideally, we want to be able to get from whichever exit or entrance from the farm back to our house without running into debris. This is especially important if we end up staying out really late, whether we're doing fishing or going down into the mines, and we want to get back to bed so we don't get hit with the penalty. So we're going to clear away all of the rocks, the weeds, the trees all around those areas. Now when it comes to the trees, yes, I am going to leave the stumps because at this moment in time, I just don't want to waste the energy on those stumps. They're just not worth the XP for now. Eventually though, we will clear them out. Now we're not going to be doing the usual day 1 tactic this time of trying to get 300 wood and repair the bridge. This time, what we're going to primarily focus on is keeping our 500 gold, so we're not going to buy salads. We're going to sell sap, fibre and other bits and bobs you pick up today, so that when we get into day number 2, we should have hopefully well over 1,000 gold, so we can get the fiberglass rod without much hassle. So if you are copying along, just watch how I play here, because this tactic makes it much easier to get the fiberglass rod on day number 2. And the reason why you want an early fiberglass rod is so you can equip bait to it, which dramatically increases fishing bite rate. So once I get more or less 50 pieces of wood, we're going to put that chest right down and we're going to put everything inside. Then we're going to have a think about what we're going to take out. So we're going to take out the axe for now. We're going to walk around like a planker and we're going to go back to the chest and we're going to put back in the axe. And when you see unedited days like this, I'm just going to put my hands up right now and say this happens a lot sometimes. Sometimes I can spend huge amounts of time inside the chest inventory trying to plan out a route, trying to plan out, okay, where am I going to go and what tools am I going to bring with me, because you only have a handful of inventory slots before you get the backpack upgrades, and the last thing you want is to have your inventory full and then you're strolling down the valley, you see a lot of forageables and oh, you can't pick them up, you know, and before you know it, you're opening up the screen and you're resetting days and you're kicking yourself because today could have been a great day. So take my advice, folks, take your time. Take a deep breath, open up your chests, and then, slowly but surely, take out what you need. If I find myself taking too long in the chest inventories, I'll just cut it out, you know? Because nobody wants to see me for about a minute or 2 minutes looking at my chest and looking at items and whatnot and looking at what I should sell and whatnot. So what I'm doing right now is I'm making a path here from the house down to the very south exit of the farm. And the reason why we want to do this now is because when we're roaming around the Cinder-sap forest, and if it's getting late, especially if it's getting dark and you can't really see a lot of the debris, doing this right now is going to make it a lot easier to get from the Cindersap Forest back to the safety of our house without getting hit with that penalty. Now, we're not really going to be hitting the bed for the first couple of days because we're going to be getting skill ups, a lot of them. Skill ups mean we start the next day with full energy, you see. The main thing is that you don't want to be passing out with 1,000 or 2,000 pieces of gold on you, because if you pass out with a good bit of money, you're going to get a penalty. Someone's going to find you. Sometimes you can get away with it. Other times, you could be fined quite a bit, up to 1,000 gold. Now, I just want to point out, despite the fact that we're using the same game seeds, I don't think you're going to get the same foraging spots as me. Even if you reset your day over and over, those forageables are locked into day one. You would actually have to, create a new file for those forageables to change around, and that's as far as I know anyway. But let me know in the comments if it's different for you. Now, I end up getting a lot of forageables today, which is real nice. And I'm actually going to spend a great deal now roaming around the valley today. I mean, properly roaming around, looking for forageables, and I end up picking loads. Now, if you don't want to waste, the amount of time I'm wasting here, you could very easily pause your screen. You could do a screenshot. You could then open up your files on your PC, and you could look at to see where all the forageables are. So for example, if you got like an empty Cindersap forest, you could tell yourself, okay, and then you could just go somewhere else, so it's totally up to yourself. It is a great time saver though. It's not something I use, to be honest, but it is a good tip. So we're going to go back into the farm. We just done our little stroll around Cindersap Forest. It's now just past 10 minutes past 12. That means Gus is open. The saloon is accessible. Normally, we'd be heading into Gus now to get some salads, but we're going to stay away from those. Now, if you want to go ahead and get salads, work away. But I'm going to keep my 500 gold. I'm going to cherish it because I need it to get the fiberglass rod the next day. And the sooner I can get a fiberglass rod, the sooner I can strut up to the lake and pull up huge amounts of fishes. Now, as we can see, I've done really well with forageables. I've got spring onions, I've got 4 horse radishes, I've got a dandelion and a daffodil. What I don't have right now is a leek. If I do get a leek, I will keep one of each spring forageable for the community centre bundle. So it's very important that you hold on to those early, because if you end up selling all your forageables from day one, you just don't know when you're going to get those forageables again. And sometimes RNG, sometimes the game can be quite cruel to you, and you could play through the whole of spring without really coming across those forageables. So we don't want to get stuck with the early community centre bundles. So we're swinging up now by Linus's tent. We're having a look around here, not a whole lot going on. Hoeing up those copper ores was actually fierce good, because that is now going to trigger Clint to visit us the next day and give us the recipe to make the furnace. Now, I did spot a horseradish up there beside Linus's tent, so we're going to run up now and we're going to grab it. There's also a leak over on the island there, where we do most of our fishing by the lake. So we're going to take a stroll over there as well, and we're going to pick up that leek. Now, you might have noticed from looking at my inventory there that I have the parsnip seeds with me. So I am going to sell those parsnips to get some extra money from Pierre. And I would recommend most people to sell them for the money, especially if you're going for the fiberglass rod the next day, or if you're doing specific sprint challenges. And the biggest reason for this is because if you spend a good portion of time on day one just running around the farm with a scythe, whacking open weeds, you're going to get mixed seeds. Chances are you're going to get the parsnip, you're going to get the cauliflower, and you're going to get the potato from those mixed seeds. All you have to buy, really, is the bean starter. Looking back on the footage, I really should have mined open that rock there beside the community centre. Used my scythe to get all of the fibre, could have got a couple of mixed seeds as well, but here's a pro tip. If you do go in there and you're scything away the fibre, try to leave a few bits of fibre left, because that will generate more fibre, and it becomes a real handy fibre gathering spot if you ever get stuck and you need a few pieces of fibre for something, We're now going to take a nice stroll into Pierre's shop. We're going to sell him the parsnips, we're going to sell him the daffodils, because we already have daffodils back in the chest on the farm, so we can just sell those for extra money. That's going to push us now to 717 gold. That's nice, And when you start day number 1, if you want that fiberglass rod as quick as possible, just keep asking yourself the question, okay, I've got 500 or 600 or 700, I'll only need this amount of gold the next day. Now, a big boost you can get today, and I don't know how many times I have started files on this game now, but there's a chance you can get an artifact, a good chance you can get an artifact on the beach. I ended up getting 4 clams today. I don't think I've ever gotten that before. That was just incredibly lucky. But look what we get out of the artifact spot here. We picked up the dried starfish. This is actually quite common. More times than not, you should be able to nab yourself an artifact down there by the beach somewhere. Go straight into Gunther now with that and get your nice 250 gold. I also had a quick look over the tide pools to see if anything spawned. Now, I couldn't see the whole lot of the area, but it doesn't look like much spawned right now. Now, we do have until Saturday to get over there before everything resets, so try not to panic too much on getting that bridge repaired. There are bonuses, of course, to getting the bridge repaired from day 1. It means you can access the forageables from day 2. So if you were to pick up, coral, sea urchins, things like that, if you weren't going for the bait maker, you could sell them to get extra money to make the fiberglass rod a little bit easier. So once we donate the dried starfish there, that's going to give us 250 gold, but not straight away. You see, you can bank that 250 gold. That's what I'm doing. You can open up your quest tab anytime you want and take that 250 gold. So take my advice, unless you need it, leave it in the quest tab. It's not going anywhere, and it never will unless you open it and you take that money out. We're now going to swing around the Georgia Mart here to see if there's any forageables, and there is. There's a daffodil hiding right up there, very close to actually where the prize ticket is. So once we upgrade our axe to a copper axe, we will be able to get a prize ticket that's hidden behind a tree there. And it's really nice to pick that up much earlier rather than later. The reason why we want to get as many prize tickets now as possible is because if you get 5 of them, you get a star drop tea. So if you're looking to get married very early in this game, that star drop tea is your ticket to success. Now, we didn't remix the bundles, okay? But sometimes if you remix bundles, you can get what's called the helper bundle from the bulletin board. And if you donate, I think it's 1 prize ticket and 5 mystery boxes, you will be rewarded with an additional star drop tea. So it is actually possible to get 2 star drop teas in spring. The only big challenge there would be getting the 5 mystery boxes, because to enable mystery boxes in the first place, you need to have obtained 2 prize tickets from, doing the billboard quests. So, you'd need to have done 6 of those quests in total before Mr. Key even shows up to give you the option to get mystery boxes. So it would be a little bit of a stretch, but I do think it possible, if you got really lucky with the quests. So we're now going back to our farm, and this is where we're going to hang out for the rest of the day. We have a good bit of energy. We will sell a lot of the things in the chest there, but we are going to keep a few things as well. Now, those spring onions, we're going to eat those for energy. And we're going to grab all those horse radishes too, because we only need 1. Now, you could sell them if you want. I'm not going to sell mine. I'm going to eat mine for energy, and I'm going to use that energy to get some wood. So I'm going to cut down a load of trees here. And this is just going to be a start when it comes to getting the 300 pieces of wood. Now, we won't have enough energy to get 300 pieces of wood here. If we had the salads, yeah, easy enough. But we're saving our money. But we should be able to get, I'd say, maybe 100, well over 100 actually, maybe 150, 160 pieces of wood. It takes 10 swings to knock down a tree. That's a huge amount of energy. And each tree, not including the stump, gives you, 13 pieces of wood? So it's very easy to kind of do the maths in terms of, how much energy you would need per day to get the 300 pieces of wood. And it is possible. Even if you did a run and you didn't get any forageables, I think if you get just the 2 salads, you should more or less have enough just to nab that 300. It's certainly doable. You're just digging into the starter funds. Now, when we're finished with all these trees, we'll have a tiny bit of energy left. We'll mine over a couple of rocks as well, because if we want to make the furnace, we're going to need some stone. Also, it's quite easy to get level 1 in most of the skills when you're starting out, so we will try to push mining to at least level 1 before the mines open up. That way, we're going to get some pickaxe proficiencies, and the more proficient you are with a tool in Stardew Valley, the less energy you will consume when using that tool. And as far as I know, you get a proficiency skill every time you level up. So it just means when you reach like level 5 or level 10 with a skill and you're using your axe, using your pickaxe, you'll notice that you're not using up a whole lot of energy. There's also a chance that those rocks will drop coal. Coal is something we absolutely want. Coal is quite expensive as well to buy off Clint, so if we can get at least 5 pieces of coal, that will be enough to smelt up 5 copper bars for the tool upgrade. If we can't get the 5 pieces of coal, now you want to be very unlucky because the standard farm here has huge amounts of rocks. If you mined open enough of them, you'd surely nab the 5 pieces. And we're going to be fishing tomorrow as well, so hopefully we might nab a few pieces of coal inside the treasure chest as well. Now, because our energy is quite low, we're going to take our time a little bit here. And we're going to cut down a couple of more trees. Once we're finished with the trees, we will use a lot of time too to scythe away weeds, because the more fibre that we get, the more money we're going to get. You see, I'm going to sell all the sap, I'm going to sell all the fibre, I'm selling the clams of course, so I'm going to get a couple of more, 100 pieces of gold before day 2 comes in. It's also worth as well running around the entirety of your farm to see if there's any sneaky artifact spots hiding out somewhere. The standard farm is a real big farm. More times than not, if you do enough kind of adventuring around the place, you're going to run into something. Now, you might just get a chicken statue or something, but sometimes you get something way better. Just depends, I suppose. Now, if you get very lucky on day 1, sometimes you can get Joja Colas from the trash cans. They give a small bit of energy, but they give speed boosts. Now, it might only be for, 15 or 20 seconds, but you would be surprised how effective that is, especially when you start day 1 and you want to explore the whole valley before you go to bed. Now, cutting down all these trees is going to pay off dramatically. Our foraging skill is now level 2, which is absolutely amazing. That means we're going to get some proficiencies, and that means we're going to consume less energy when we cut down trees in the future. So all of these things that we're doing now, putting in the grind, it all accumulates and it pays off dramatically, especially when you get into the mid game and of course the end game. So for the rest of the night now, we're just going to roam around with this scythe and we're going to try to get as many weeds as possible. Weeds are all over the place. Occasionally as well, you'll notice that I hover my mouse over my energy bar to see how much energy I have left, and every time I swing the tool, I recheck the energy to see how much I used up. Using this method, you can really squeeze that energy bar to its maximum potential before your character passes out. In terms of passing out, if you pass out anywhere outside your house, there's a chance you will get hit with a penalty. But if you pass out inside your house, even if you don't make it into bed, you will be safe. Now, I actually end up passing outside my house today because I just got a bit too greedy with, squeezing the absolute capacity out of that energy bar. Now, here's the thing about energy. When your energy reaches 0, your character will get a debuff called exhaustion, and it dramatically slows your character down. But you can still use actions that consume negative energy. It puts you in the negative, right? And I think you're good for maybe 4 or 5 swings of a tool, and after that your character will just pass out and you'll go into the next day. So if you're ever really, really close to getting something done, and if you're kind of close to bed, or if you have very little goals, you're not worrying about the penalty, use the exhaustion debuff to your advantage. As we can see, I just got exhaustion there and I used my hoe and I got a couple of home spots. I'm now using the watering can, and this is where I make the mistake. I thought I had 1 watering can charge left in me. I'm sorry, Mr. Parsnip, but you're not going to be able to get watered today. But don't worry, we will give that parsnip lots of love on day number 2. And that, my friends, is the first video of our new play-along. So I hope you all join me in this, and let me know in the comments how you got on, your experiences. Sap is not to be underestimated. 2 gold for each one. You can get loads from trees. 200 gold from the clam. That was nice. And from other we have the fibre and the pine cone. Thanks again everyone for watching this one. I really appreciate you. I hope to see you in the comments. And I'll try my best to get another one of these videos uploaded in the very near future, just for you. Have a great night everyone. I'll see you soon.